The 2018 Bookham sale was a blockbuster success. Held at the former Toys R Us location in Southtown Center, this year's sale raised the largest amount of funds in Bookham's 26-year history. The funds benefit the city's crime prevention efforts, and success of the sale is attributed to several factors, including a large number of high-quality book donations, great visibility for the sale with signage facing 494, an adjacent business going out of business sale brought in many new customers, welcomed repeat Bookham customers, and most importantly, the wonderful volunteers that make this event possible each year.
You might wonder, what does the Crime Prevention Association do with the funds raised from the sale each year? Well, funding goes towards a number of grants distributed by the police department, area businesses, and schools to further support crime prevention efforts.
We are happy to share more about the Bookham event and the efforts that resulted from it as we visit with two gentlemen who helped make the event possible. We welcome Mayor Gene Winstead and Jay Juergens to the set. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us today. Heidi and I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk about our Bloomington Crime Prevention Association, kind of how it started and where we are today. And so, Mayor, you know, we talked earlier, you got to be part of the beginning process of this great organization, and then Jay, now you're working hard currently, and we've got record year results. So, Mayor, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit how this program came about and what your involvement was and where it left off with you and who picked up the ball and ran with it.
Well, it's an interesting beginning. It was back probably in the mid or early 80s that the Bloomington Citizen Crime Prevention Association was first formed and started going on. We were out there. It was a grassroots organization that we were just trying to solicit membership from a lot of different citizens in the city of Bloomington, and just worked it as an awareness campaign. People like Irv Norling, if you remember that name, who long-standing resident of our community who has since passed, but Mary Lou Spies. And of course, Nikki Pearson was very instrumental in the formation and the operations of all that the BCPA did at that point in time. We raised funds from donations, and one of the early programs that we did was we provided the first canine unit to the city of Bloomington. And so we were able to get a dog, and we paid for the training and I think a squad car to house the dog, and away we went. So it was one of the programs that was there, but it has since really gone and grown, and it's had some great leadership, and it's resulted in things like coming all the way up to the Bookham sale that raises great funds for the city, and things are given back to the city through grants, and it's just great to see the activity that's going on.
Perfect. And Jay, now you're on the board. Mm-hmm. And how many years have you been with the organization, would you say?
16.
16 years,
yeah.
Okay. So what Mayor's talking about, you kind of remember that transition period, and when you picked the ball up and ran with it, where were they at that point?
Well, we were just coming off of the charitable gambling thing, you know, and we were looking for ways to increase our funds, so we had a thought that maybe if we could expand the book sale to include maybe not just Bloomington, but the surrounding areas. So we solicited books and what have you. And we were fortunate to be able to use a facility on 98th and Lyndale, the old Gander Mountain, which was owned by Wixon Jewelers. And we were there for 7 years, and it was a very busy corner. And people got to find out where we were and what we did, and we were able to increase our sales significantly, I think, just because of the awareness. We tried to get out into the community to solicit books, and then we were able to advertise through the local Sun Current and Star Tribune, and every year we seemed to be able to increase it. It was a struggle trying to figure out how to handle that type and volume of books. It was where we went from hand-carrying boxes in and sorting. We went to palletized books so that we were able to move the tons and tons of books that we sort every year. We're fortunate to have a part of a core group of volunteers that helped us all get to where we are today. They became familiar with what we did, how we did it, and they just improved on it. And so it runs pretty well now.
Jay, they spend how much time there? I mean, they're literally, you're busy with this sale from the April. I mean, you're busy throughout the year, but from April till the end of June, really, and you're putting in 40-hour weeks at least?
At least. Yeah, how we work it is that starting the first of the year, we look for a site, and that's really the really difficult thing that we have. Because of the size and that we need, the type of facility, we need a loading dock and that sort of thing. There just is not that many sites available. So that's what we do until, hopefully by the 1st of April we have a site. And then starting the 1st of April is when we put out our collection boxes. So we have, within the city of Bloomington, about 60 locations where we have collection boxes, and then assign people to pick up books. And then we start, we have with all of our tables, some 300 and some tables and bookshelves we have on a storage trailer at Dart's portable storage. We bring that in, we set that up. It usually takes us at least 3 or 4 days to sort it out, to figure out where the rows should go, what category should be where. It's a lot of heavy lifting there.
It's a lot of work, but you know what? It really impressed me, I'll just tell you, Jay, is Memorial Day weekend when everybody's heading out of town or have different festivities, parades lined up or whatever. You and your family, so your son and his wife and children and Deanna, your wife, they all make it kind of a weekend activity. That's your Memorial Day, is you all give back and you spend the entire weekend there. Sometimes in air conditioning, sometimes not. But you work tirelessly for these efforts, you know, for our crime prevention efforts, for the funds to go towards that. And I just think that's just so outstanding.
I gotta clarify one thing to keep harmony in the family. My son and his wife, and then my daughter and her husband and children.
Okay. Harmony in the family is good. Yes, I do remember your daughter as well. So.
And of course Deanna, my wife, who takes care of all the setting up all the sorting aspect of it and what have you. Without them, you know, it really would have been tough to do. I'm out in front because someone has to have a name to yell at or whatever, but it's all those that really give the support in many different areas.
I think it needs to be stated that the BCPA is still a grassroots organization with a lot of volunteers that put it on. And Jay does give tirelessly, his whole family, but there's a whole range of volunteers that are there to make this sale happen. If you think about it, the size of the sale, just think about the collection and the transportation, the sorting, the setup, and then just clerking, just being there at the sale, the time that it takes. And it's an event now that is known in this whole South Metro area that people come. I noticed when I went by the site, before you open one morning, there was a line of people, maybe 50 deep, waiting outside of the door to get into the sale, because it is such an event. It's just so great to see. But
Christmas
it goes back.
in June, right?
It goes back to all the volunteers, Jay included, that put in tireless hours.
Yeah.
Do you know how many books, I mean, if you had to put on a number, how many do you think you collected?
Oh, probably somewhere in the area of 250,000.
That's a lot of books.
That's $250,000. That's $250,000 books.
We sold $165,000 worth of books. Those that were not saleable go to recycling. We had palletized. We had 36 pallets of books that went to recycling. They weigh about 800 pounds apiece. The books that we have on the sale floor that we don't sell, we have a lot of charities that come and take books afterwards. Veep is one of them, and some of the other locals. But the majority goes to Goodwill, Easter Seals. They had 3 trailer loads. We had 48 pallets of books that we hand pack. So there's like several thousand in each box. So that was after the sale. So that it was, we move a lot of heavy stuff. That's why I said it was important to get how we handled it. It was a handling issue more than a sorting issue type thing.
So just to recap, I mean, everything we've talked about it's amazing, the detail, the organization and everything, but you threw out a number of $165,000. Is that a record year?
Yes, yes.
Do you remember what last year's was?
143,000, which was a record.
So $20,000 more. Think of the amount of books that have to move.
22.
Well, $2 and $1 a book. So.
Yeah, $2 and $1 a book.
Yeah.
That's a lot of books. And the organization, I don't know, folks, if you ever been to one of the sales, it's amazing how organized everything is and categorized. If you haven't been to one, please try it. Get out to one and check it out. The efforts of these gentlemen and the volunteers it's amazing, and it goes to a great cause. It helps keep crime under control as much as we can in Bloomington, and all the efforts with the businesses, the schools, and the police department, and everything goes to grants, and we can't thank you enough for everything you guys both have done, past and present, and it's all, like you say, grassroots. It's still building. There's still changes that can take place, and this is well established, but there's tomorrow and the next day that we can continue to work on these efforts.
So speaking of the grants, when will you start receiving applications for some of those grant monies? You typically do a distribution of grant monies in the fall and then in the spring, is that correct? Or
we used to. Now we just do it in the fall, one per year.
so if any of our viewers have crime prevention efforts that they'd like to get started or continue to fund, they need to get their applications in?
Yes, if they go to our website, bcpamn.org, there's an application form, and we stress that we want you to use that form in the format it is, because we have to compare all the different requests, and if everything is in the same order, we're better able to do that. We accept them right now, and through September 14th, we'll be accepting grants from any nonprofit or public or government agency. Is the type of organizations that we give grants to. And last year, I believe we gave out $100,500 worth of grants.
Wow, outstanding.
And if you have volunteers that want to get involved, how can you share how volunteers can get involved with the Bloomington Crime Prevention Association?
Well, we're always looking for board members, and if you go to our website, there's an application form for board members, which is volunteers. Also, we're all volunteers. And sometimes people think they have to have some background or familiarity with crime prevention. BCPA is a fundraising organization, so anybody that has any background in selling anything, carrying anything, doing anything, we would be very interested, and that to have an interest in the community and crime prevention to apply for a board position. As far as Bookham volunteers, we always have a sign up every year at the sale for people who are interested. Again, if they would go to our website, there's a reference to our email address, and they could just send us an email and say we're interested, and we would send you an application form to fill out. We do like to do an application form for our Bookham volunteers, mostly for contact information, but also to get some of your background and where your interests might be. So we hope to match up your interests with what we do, and that way it seems to go much better.
If you love to read, it might be something where you can maybe get your hands on some books a little earlier than, say, the public would for the sale, right? Isn't that one of the benefits, possibly?
Right. You still have to buy them, but you do get a look ahead of time, yes. Our expectation is if you become a volunteer that you will be able to put in 15 to 20 hours a week, every week.
I'm glad that you clarified that,
yeah.
because I can see somebody thinking, I'll get those books and then I'll leave. So that's the expectation. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
A lot of people that volunteer for library book sales, they do it maybe 2 hours a month to sort and what have you. when we start April 1st, we go continuous till the sale starts.
Mayor, any other final words you'd like to
Well,
to say?
you know, we're speaking of volunteers, and we have so many people that volunteer in so many organizations throughout Bloomington, and the BCPA is just one that I know that when I was active and working in it, I found it very rewarding. And I think that is one of the benefits for all volunteers, to find good and rewarding work to do, and it really pays dividends in that respect. So, great, sign up.
There you go.
There you go.
That says it all, I guess, huh? Thank you for your time, gentlemen.